Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of me, Elven Dragon. So, last time we went and worked on a little bit of a lake and a river going through part of this area, and I love it. But you're probably wondering what makes this episode so special. And that is because this episode marks 5 years since we started in this world, and I figured we might as well celebrate that with a bit of a world tour of everything that we've done. So I've got these two boxes right here, contain little books and everything for all of our different build areas. So we've got 10 in total to go through. Got these 9 here, and we've got one here for our end hub. This is how I've managed to keep everything organized and know what we still have left to do for each of the different areas as we bounce between all of them. But with that explanation done, it's about time we get started with the tour. And the best place to start will be right here with the one that we have in progress, the redstone pit. So this area here is basically where we're going to be keeping all of our bigger farms, pretty much our big central farming area, as well as our main centralized, more or less complete storage system. Just going to be a whole bunch of different farms and such, and how we're decorating this is we're turning it into a bunch of floating islands. So pretty much all of our farms are going to be decorated with those. We're going to have little floating islands connecting each of these up together. And we've got quite a few of our farms in. We're almost done actually just getting farms in. And the rest is all detail work. But all of our decorations in here are going to be kind of interesting. We're going to be doing a bunch of different trees based on each of the different metals and gemstones and coal, because why not? But I absolutely love how this area is coming along. This is our most undeveloped area. It's got the most work to do. Most of our areas aren't actually complete and just have one or two little projects to finish up. But this one is slowly coming along and we're slowly getting stuff in. We are still working on digging this area down quite a bit further. We've got another 53 blocks to go, and we have a lot more islands to put in. But so far, it is coming along really nicely, and I love this. We've got farms for all of our flowers. We've got bees. We've got an iron farm, pumpkin farm. Basically, everything that we need to go and work on our different areas and decorate everything. Our second area on our tour is our very first area that we started in. This is our main base. This basically has our main house. We come back here every so often to put some new stuff in here. Got all of our records, well, almost all of them. I think we got a couple more that we need to stick in here, but this is where we started this whole adventure, or at least where we started building on this whole adventure. We've been here for quite a while. I absolutely love this. We've got our dogs in a little dog house out in the back here. And a nice little garden here as well. Absolutely love how this has turned out. And you can see we've slowly been adding more flowers and plants back here as we find new ones. Now, outside of our home, we also have a bunch of space here. We were going to have a bunch more villagers in this area, but unfortunately, a lot of them have just fallen victim to pillager raids and such. We're supposed to have a fisherman out in that fishing hut down there, and in here is just a small little crop farm that we have. Only got one farmer in there right now, and eventually I do hope to get the other farmers in here and get this farm fully up and running. But on the other side of the main road through the area from our crop farm, we've also got space here for a butcher who is apparently got his head in the ceiling. And between that and our main house, we've also got a little barn where we keep all of our horses. Most of them are skeletal horses that we've just found, but we've also got small little bamboo, kelp, and sugarcane farms in here as well, just so we have some passive farms in here. Further down the path, we have our little bee hives area. So we need to get some bees in here again. And across the road from that, we have our little tower. Got a cleric in here on the ground floor. as well. On the second floor, we got a couple little decorations. And on the third floor, we got a little desk and we've got a bell all the way at the top. Just a small little decorative tower. We've been slowly reworking this as we've gone along. So we now have smooth quartz and calcite in this. This used to have white terracotta in it, and it just didn't look quite right. But as we keep going along the path, we've also got a little smithy, which is missing a bunch of stuff because we haven't been able to get our villagers to link to anything properly, so we haven't been able to get them back in. And we've got a little shepherd pen. This is where we went and bred up our sniffers originally. Still got one sheep in here, and we've still got one sheep in here. Now, back behind that, we've got a small little stone circle, as well as a half finished custom tree. This stone circle, if we can find the entrance underneath it somewhere, I don't even know if there's one. Needless to say, underneath this stone circle, we have our enchanting setup that we've actually never used, but it's hidden under here with full setup in case we ever need it. That is all of our little buildings here at our main base. We've got a little chicken coop as well that has a polar bear in the back because one somehow got stuck in there. And our little road here at the center goes and connects up with our main road that connects just about all of the rest of our areas. So we've got a path that leads back towards the redstone pit. Still have a little bit of road here that needs work. This basalt and blackstone path here does go just about all the way through all of our other areas. We've got a woodland mansion right near our main base, as well as a nice pillager tower with our raid farm. Our next stop on our world tour is at the Biosphere Tower. This is the tallest build area that we have, and we've got about 13 different biospheres spread up in the air along here around the tower. Got a bunch of different biomes. We've got plains, swamp, mushroom island, jungle, got coral reef, even got the nether biomes and the end in here. And every one of these spheres that can have a passive mob does have one, except for the Lush Cave sphere because the axolotls kept crawling out of the water and dying, and a couple others that we had the mobs just kind of wander out from. But we've got just about every passive mob in the game somewhere in these spheres. And as we keep finding new biomes, we keep adding more spheres heading up to the top of the tower. This is probably one of my favorite areas to work on. Absolutely love how all of these have turned out. Inside the tower's got a pair of bubble columns that basically take us all the way up and down. Also got a staircase to walk between the different levels. But we've got so many different spheres here. But this has been such a fun area to see how it grows, and we get some very nice views from up here. One short glide away from the Biosphere Tower, we have a small little ruined village out here in the swamp. Now we've got a whole bunch of ruined buildings. This basically just started as I wanted to build a whole bunch of ruined buildings and felt that that would be a lot of fun. So we've got a whole bunch of those. We've got a wall all the way around the outside here that is all torn down and ruined. We've got a gate over there. We've got some towers. Actually, no, the gate's right there. Got holes in the wall here, like just kind of just been abandoned and fallen apart, which I absolutely love how this whole section turned out. It really, really worked really, really well. Strangely enough, we also happen to have an ancient city down below us now because of when a whole bunch of stuff opened up below. There happened to be an ancient city down below there. So we actually have two ruined civilizations here, which I think is kind of neat. And then going away from the main town proper, we have this building here. This, I love how this turned out here. It's kind of just gotten flooded down the front, got a hole in the roof. All of the glass windows have just been broken and it's fallen apart. I love how that turned out. And we've even got a small little section up here. It's just turned out so nice through here. And then we've got our lanterns along the path. I went with the soul lanterns here to kind of be more of like a will-o'-the-wisp sort of effect. I was hoping to get them just kind of floating out in the swamp, but no matter. think the lanterns work really, really nicely for that purpose. Our next build area on our tour here is actually quite large and is rather spread out. This is the Extinct Research Lab, which also happens to be where our villager trading hall is. It happens to be right underground right over there. But this area encompasses our main building here, which is the actual lab building. We've got an exhibit right over there. We've got an aviary over there. Two more, or actually three more exhibits over there that you can't actually see from up here. And that building right over there in the swamp. Also, several paddocks out in the water over there as well. This is basically a whole building devoted to fossils and going through the ages of Earth's history from the Cambrian all the way to the Cretaceous. So, as you can see here, we've got a few fossils in here. We've got like a little ammonite there. We've got some fossils that we took from the nether. Got little bits and stuff here as well. Got a whole bunch of different things. We've got some vats in here that are meant for growing up new animals, as well as some DNA extractors here. Also, have the first fossil that we actually found in this world, which is all the way over here in the back, kind of still unpacked here on the crate. This is actually from the desert right near our main base. We've got some concrete in the center parts there to mark out spots where the bones are missing and keep everything together. But all in all, this is a fun little area that just has a bunch of extinct animals. So the Cambrian animals are down here. We've also got a bunch of plants and stuff for our different areas. So we have all our different little plants that we use around the areas for growing up in this little room over here. Then down the stairs, we've got a few small exhibits before we head into the Ordovician, Silurian, and Devonian exhibits, which are out in the bay. And then we have our carboniferous insects out in the little paddock out in the swamp. Got the Permian out there. And then the dinosaurs are all out in the jungle. But here we can see the Triassic paddock here. We've got a whole bunch of different animals in there. I think there's 5 of them total in there. Behind us, we have the Jurassic aviary. We should actually get like little side paths in here at some point. Actually connect everything so we're not having to trek through the jungle. But each of these has 3 to 4, or I think 5 is the most that we did for any of the animals in any of these. So we have our Jurassic area here, which is an aviary, so we can put in a Ramporhynchid flying through the sky. We've got a whole bunch of different ones. Got Archaeopteryx in the back there. Then our Cretaceous paddocks are on the other side of this patch of jungle. There's actually 2 kind of sections of jungle. I believe it's all actually connected. But on the path that we took, we cut through a plains that has a village in it. So right at the edge of this jungle here, you can see we've got 2 different paddocks for the Cretaceous. We've got our T-Rex in the one, and we've got an Ankylosaur and a Titanosaur in the other one. That is our little dinosaur and extinct animal area. Now, lastly, at the end of our Blackstone and Salt Road, we have Stardust Valley. This whole area started as me needing a break from working on our main base, and I love how this has turned out. Got basically different houses for each of the zodiacs, going all the way from Aries all the way around to Pisces. And most of the buildings here are kind of themed with what each one is. So we've got Twins of Fire and Ice, Gemini. This was definitely one of my favorites to build when I went through and built it. We've got a whole crab cave here for Cancer with a little fish tank. Supposed to be some squid in here, but they kept dying, unfortunately. But instead we have little tropical fish and such. And I really like how this turned out. In the center here, we've got a whole big section here that's just got the constellation Draco on it, which is kind of hard to see here from the ground, but it does kind of see the different stars where the gold blocks are. And I really like how this whole thing turned out. Inside the hill, we've got a nearly quad cave spider spawner. There's some villagers in here. We've actually got villagers in a couple of these little houses, but most of them are just empty shells for each of the different stations. Inside this little one here, we've got our little community board for on stream. Don't have very much on it quite yet, but all in all, this whole area has turned out really well. I really need to finish that giant tree at some point. But our little base over here is actually inside that little mesa section there. We just kind of have a old cave with some noxious fumes rising up from the bottom because you can't have a dragon cave without some noxious fumes rising from the grounds. But this basically just has a little bit of storage, has our actually currently main nether wart farm, because we don't have another bigger nether wart farm than this. Little sugarcane farm that doesn't produce very much. Got our currently main sea pickle farm, cactus farm, and a few bees if they're still in here and they haven't wandered out of the area. We also have a couple of mushrooms down below and a little mushroom pen. One is apparently still in the minecart. We also got some caves and mines and stuff down below, mostly for obsidian. Oh, hey, look, there's one of our bees. Two of them. But that is basically just where we kind of live when we're working out here in the mesa. Our final stop on our main path, which actually isn't connected up to the main path quite yet, because we still have quite a bit of an undersea tunnel here to build all the way back to Stardust Valley, is our Guardian Farm. So this whole area is just a very simple, slow Guardian Farm that also has a trading hall, iron farm, gold farm, and effectively also acts as a raid farm whenever we get a random pillager patrol to wander in here. And this is just a basic, very simple little farm. Mostly just brings all of our stuff down to our kill chamber and into the monument where we have our collections and storage systems. Provided it hasn't decided to break itself right now. Sounds like it's still working, so that's good. I've been having the occasional issue with the tridents glitching through the floor and killing the hopper minecart, which brings everything into our massive storage system in here, which is actually split into two, so all of our filters here are doubled going around, and then just flows into a massive thing of just unsorted chests. But in each of the front two wings, we've gone and done a little bit of decoration because I was feeling like it needed something in here and I didn't just want to leave that big space empty. But looks like we still have some empty space in here as well. In the one, we've got a little kind of room here with the screen and everything else. We've got a little game table sort of area, which apparently we never actually finished building that. But the one thing we have finished is we do have a little bedroom in here. It does have beds, so we could actually sleep in here. And just has a few bits and bobs scattered about in here. I really like how that all turned out as well. Now on the other side, we actually have quite a bit more done. Got a small little kitchen. We've got a little dining room here as well. So this just goes into our little kitchen. So we've got a little fridge, some cooking furnaces, and a little pass-through window there into the dining room, which takes up this entire back section here. And then front here, we've just got a little storage bin here, some light, and we've got a small little plant room because I absolutely love doing little plant sections, and got a nice little waterfall in here because every build needs a nice little water feature. And all in all, I think that this turned out really, really well. Still got a little bit of decorative work, I guess, to do in here. Just kind of making this a little bit nicer. Might do something with the top there. But all in all, the main thing for this is we need to finish up this massive tunnel that's going to head back to the other areas. But basically how this works is we have our guardian farm. All of our XP comes up this water chute, which is also our way of getting up to the villager trading hall where we have, I believe, just about all of the tipped arrows from our Fletchers here. We've also got a fisherman and a blacksmith or armor, so we can trade the iron and the fish that we get from this farm. And all in all, it seems to be working quite well. Our final overworld stop on our tour is here at the Fairy Forest. This is an entire mushroom island that we went and converted into this nice lush forest. We've got a whole bunch of different little things hidden around here. Like we've got this little temple here where we have our allays flying around. We've got a bunch of little trees here in our main village. Got our beautiful portal tree, which houses our nether portal and our main nether connection to this island since it has no overworld connection other than flying and taking a boat. But we've got paths going all through this island. We've got little shrines scattered about along the side. One side, we've got Puck's house, which is this giant mushroom here, which has all the basic things. We've got a nice little storage closet. We've got allays running around here because this is where I've been storing the allays. Small little kitchen, little trees and such growing in here. Upstairs, we've got a small little library nook with a few more trees. Nice round window to look out of here. And up in the loft, we've got a small little bedroom with a copy of Other Side on a jukebox. And a nice little chandelier. Now, back around behind the house, roughly, we've got a small little underwater area here as well. This is just basically, I wanted to build a small little thing underwater and decided to use a bunch of teal blocks, actually, exclusively pretty much teal blocks in the creation. So we've got a small little area back here. We've got our little base house here for where we were working on the area with little curtains and all sorts of different little plants and stuff. Corals growing all through everything. Got a little tree. We've got a little blacksmithing area. Now we have here with a little furnace and everything else. Really love how this whole area kind of turned out. Really worked really well with all of the teal and such. Got a little smelting area because we decided to do copper roofs for all of this, and we needed more copper. But we've got a nice little inn here with some stables on the side. Well, not too many, just a handful. And this area is bounded by a nice little wall with little gatehouses and such. But you can swim into all of these buildings. Gotten all the windows basically made of stairs, so you have a full block to swim through. And we've got our conduit buried underneath the ground, just to basically give us our water breathing for when we're working in the area and just want to go swimming through here. Most of these houses are empty, don't really have a whole lot to put in them. But as you can see, our ground cover here is basically warp nylium and skulk, which I think worked really well for this nice little underwater section. Now going down the path, going the other way out of the main central town with its fountain and everything else, we have a library tree. This is just basically a nice big tree where we've got a nice little reading area, lots of books. We've got another Allay temple over here as well. However, the Allays don't seem to like to connect to that one. So we've got a nice little section here with some reading spaces, lots of bookshelves. This was a nice fun one to do with how vertical it is. We've got ladders here so you can reach the higher shelves. Small little chairs all scattered through here. Because this is very much a small little vertical build that we just kind of stuck inside a nice big tree. That turned out really well, I think. And you can hear the other Allay temple. That's somewhere down over here, I believe. I wanted that one to be a little bit more hidden in the woods. But the path just kind of winds around through the island, through the main part here. Then it comes to a nice little bridge over this little inlet to what is effectively a massive peninsula that jets off from very close to the main central town. Got a lake in the middle here, in which we have our usual nice little lake bed mix. Got another small little temple in the middle here. I don't think we actually put a note block in that, so we don't have any allays. But we've got some little coral lily pads on there. We got some regular lily pads as well. And we've got a small little shrine here for a buried treasure that we just happened to stumble upon while we were working on this area. So it's got all the stuff still in it. We've got 2 diamonds on a heart of the sea in there. That was just kind of a cool little thing that we just kind of stumbled upon while we were working on building up this area. I really like how that turned out. But as we go around the lake here, this pretty much takes up most of the bottom half of this peninsula. We have our little river, flows into it. with a little path here that goes up and around to a little pond where that river starts. We've got nice little waterfalls here, little bridges. We've got another little shrine up at the top here. It kind of goes around in a little circle right next to the pond. Now, behind our main big waterfall here, we have another little section here. Small little tunnel through here. It goes into a nice big crystal cave. So we've got a few different types of crystals. All of these are different colors of quartz, except for the lapis, which is obviously lapis. So we've got some nice lapis veins going through the center of the section here. We've got some nice crystals of amethyst, quartz, citrine, and rose quartz in here as well. And of course, we got a little bit of dripstone dripping down on the side there as well. And lots and lots of little amethyst crystals through here. And I kind of like how this turned out as well. It's not as nice as I would have liked, but we have some limitations as to what we can do with glass and everything else in terms of making crystals. So the only way on and off the fairy forest without flying to it is to go through the Nether Hub. This is our main connection to all of our different areas. So going down that way, we have the Guardian Farm. And along the sides, we've got Stardust Valley. We've got a quick path to our trading hall, which is opposite from our little Wither Skeleton farm that we've got out in the nearby fortress. And this whole area kind of has turned out really nice. As you can see, we've still got a few tunnels left to decorate, but each one is basically the same. We've got a nice repeating wall pattern on the sides. We've got blocks on either side of a soul soil path with walls on top of there to kind of keep you on the path so you don't accidentally run off and lose your speed boost from soul speed. Initially, this was all supposed to be ice. I decided I didn't want to have to deal with boats and instead decided to go with the soul soil. So we have one semi-central hub point, and that is for our main base. This is just for the portal that is behind our house and our little shed. And the other paths lead to the villager breeder, and this path here leads out to the stronghold. This path also leads to our piglin bartering station, where we basically just have one piglin in a pen, and also leads us out to the open nether right behind it, where we can basically just go and fly around and get all the stuff that we need out there, since we're so high up in the ceiling. So this thing has a lever that we can use to kind of make them trade a little bit faster. It's just a simple, just give the piglin gold. We don't have any really automation for this thing, but it works just fine for what we need it to do. And here we are at the final stop of our tour. And what better place to end than in the end with our little end hub. This is a nice big area. We basically went and took the entire main end island here in the center and transformed it into this nice, beautiful, lush paradise here. So in the center of our entire area, we've got a nice big floral clock with little compass points coming out and leading to our main walkway around the entire area, which connects up all of our little outer end portals, which just gives us quick, easy access to all of them in case we want to go do something out in the outer end. This is actually a nice way to view the entire area here as well, since we are above most of this stuff on the island. So we've got little chorus trees. We went really, really heavy with all of the cherry leaves and everything else for this whole area. But along the sides and outsides here, we've got a little observatory here on the side. And then next, going around the island in this direction, we've got our little house out here, which is right next to a little lake, because of course we need a little lake. Actually, I have two of them in this area. So we've got one here, supposed to have a turtle in it, which is why we have this sand here. Has a little bit of a nice little sandy beach for them to lay their eggs on. Inside our house, we've got just a few basic little rooms. So we've got a little greenhouse room on the corner there, which is basically right off our main door. We've got a little kitchen with just a few basic things. And in the back, we've got a little library and reading nook here that looks out over the lake, which some of these views are just absolutely amazing. Upstairs, we have a nice big fish tank, which has a whole bunch of tropical fish and pufferfish. We have our little bedroom here. No actual beds because I didn't want to accidentally explode one. It also has a nice little view into our fish tank here as well. And out here, we've got a nice little balcony to look out over the island and over the end ocean that we ended up putting around this whole place. Out back, we've got a small little garden with a swing, a little pond, and a few more cherry trees. And then the back gate goes and brings us up and around a small little path. We've got a side island over here, which has different type of tree. This has our little jungle trees, bridge connecting it. And again, another little small pond and a bunch of bamboo that we just put around here. Now, just across the water here, we have our port where we've got a handful of little flying ships. Here, as you can see, we've got nothing is actually touching the water here. Down below in the water here, though, we've got a small little end ocean temple based on the end cities. So we've got several layers here. Got lots of prismarine and such going in here. Yeah, I like to think that this turned out really, really nicely. We've got one more build section here underneath the water, and that is the End Ocean Research Lab. As you can see, we've got glow squid here. Most of those glow squid are actually spawned out here. So you can see we've got our turtle swimming around over there. And there should be some more fish, and there should be a dolphin and a regular squid out here as well. So down here we have our End Ocean Research Lab. So we've got a small little submarine here. We've got a nice little storage building in here. And we've got a nice little main lounge area in here. Upstairs we've got a few little bedrooms. Don't quite have all the walls put in yet for all of these. But these just have a small little reading area with bookshelves and everything else. Then out back we've got another little dive area here with a little crystal cave and an actual lab here studying the difference in bobs. So we got a water sample, got a sample of kelp. We've got a little centrifuge. We've got some coral and some tanks as well. Hoping to get a squid into one of these, but fortunately just could never get one to actually stay alive long enough to get into the tank. Back on top of the island, just behind the docks here, we have our actual port buildings here. We've got a nice little warehouse on the side here for storing all of our cargo that we're bringing in from the outer end. Right next door to it, though, we've got our trader. This is here, little reception desks, little office here in the back, and a little meeting room to discuss trade contracts and everything else. Upstairs, we've got another couple offices as well. Small little rooms here just for people to work in. And we've got a few little just stalls in the back here with stuff that we have here on our main end island. So we've got some honey blocks and honey from our bees that we have over by our house. We've got some beetroots from our villagers, which we have out here. And we've got, of course, some chorus fruit and chorus flowers out here for sale as well. Just behind the stalls, we also have a nice big shipyard here, which has a end ship that we restored from the outer end and is kind of stuck in our shipyard building here. So we've got that in here. Got scaffolding up here to kind of keep it from falling over. It is, in fact, an entire end ship, perfectly restored from the outer end. Just missing the mast because obviously it doesn't fit inside our shipyard. But in front of that, we got a small little beach area here, a few umbrellas and a few towels because obviously if we're going to have a nice big ocean, of course you need a little beach on the side where the island meets the ocean. Got a small little tunnel that leads up to a little path that brings us over to our lighthouse. As we have a port, obviously we need a lighthouse. So we've got a small little lighthouse keeper's room down at the bottom and a nice spiral path that leads all the way up to the beacon light here. It does not rotate and flash just because there's not enough space at the top there to get the redstone to do that. But all in all, I think it's a nice little lighthouse here. The island that it's on is actually floating as well. So I thought that was a very nice place to put the lighthouse. especially since we have a floating island and flying ships. Continuing around the island from our lighthouse, we have our little end village. So this little village here is small little thing. This mostly just has villagers that we needed out in this area. So we've got a couple little houses out here for them. We've got a librarian here with a little library, all based on actual villager houses and buildings, just transformed to match the end. So we've got birch instead of oak and stone instead of cobblestone. And I decided that the roofs looked best as cherry. I tried purple, didn't look as nice, but the cherry just works really, really well. So we've just got a librarian, we've got a cleric, we've got a farmer here as well, and just all of their respective buildings. So naturally, since we're in the end, they grow beetroot. Also got a little beehive here as well. And all in all, I just like how this is a nice small little village. They even got their own little pond here, drip leaf and sugar cane and everything else, which I think turned out really, really nice. Got another river here that flows out and has a nice little waterfall into the end ocean. Again, we got a few sunken ships down here as well. Have been overgrown with coral. Got one there. We've got another one over by our lighthouse. As if maybe a ship had crashed before the lighthouse had been built, which is why the lighthouse needed to be built in the first place. But that is about it for what we have on this island. Got a few spots around here as well. For example, we've got by our main obsidian platform, we've got a little tidy ray cave. This basically served as our little storage and working area before we went in, transformed the island, and we just kind of left it there and kind of decorated it up and kept this kind of like a little smuggler's cave kind of thing, or just a little nice little cave for working out of. But with that, I would like to thank you all so much for coming along with me on this tour through our various build areas that we've gone through in the past 5 years. Really have enjoyed all of these, and I look forward to many more years, hopefully, on this world and seeing what we can come up with. We've got 5 more plans currently put in our project box, and I can't wait to show you what we've got planned for all of those. But if you want to see of what is going to go on with those, as well as what we're going to do to finish up the redstone pit, and a couple of the other unfinished projects around the world, maybe consider subscribing. And please leave a like. I do appreciate it, and I will catch you all next time. Goodbye.